What's good? A lot of people kept asking me in the chats everywhere about Mike Malone. Mm-hmm. Yes, a lot of people wanted to know what's going on. Well, here's what's going on with the Denver Nuggets and why he was fired, right along with the general manager whose contract, he's not fired. He's just not going to be rehired, and they've already put the notion out. So if anybody want to go grab him, you can go get him. They're not taking him back for next year. Now, the Nuggets have won the championship just 2 years ago. They built the team that was strong enough to go to the finals. They played the Lakers in the play-in. In the tournament that they had, what's that pandemic tournament they had in 2020, where they got basically jobbed out of the situation. And the very next year, they lost Murray with a knee injury, tore his knee up, and they basically was without Murray for about 2 years. He come back and have a magnificent year, and they win the championship that year. Now, throughout that year, there's nothing but turmoil that was going on with a lot of the players. Because once they won, everything switched. The dynamic switched in the front office with the general manager and Mike Malone. They never got along. Him and Calvin never got along. Calvin would say, like, hey, I think we should do something this way, and this would work. If we was to working together on this, we need to both be involved. And Mike Malone had ideas, and they wouldn't listen. After they won the championship, now these people are pro Mike Malone, so they're going for a whole different result. Now, when that was put in, might as well go ahead. When that was put in progression, and they wanted people to get to the next level, so to speak, they decided that instead of having a few people involved, they were going to involve a whole armada of people to be the middlemen, the assistant coaches, everybody, to give information to players, to get it back to Mike Malone. Once they won that championship, Mike Malone's ego went through the roof, and he became uncontrollable. He wanted more power. He wanted more say on personnel. The governor, the Cronkies, they coming with a sabotage. I see it now. Most of these teams are owned by a conglomerate. So the owner of the Denver Nuggets owns the Arsenal, the Colorado, what's the name? The hockey team, the Hurricanes. They own the Denver Nuggets. So it's a big major organization. They don't know anything about basketball. And the Sun is running things now, Cronky, and they don't have a habit of firing coaches anywhere. Like, they don't really have a big, we gotta fire the coach. You know, they normally keep coaches around. So this is not really their nature. Now, once they won the championship, the very next following year, he wanted more control, and it was like his attitude got dipped in alcohol, and he was on 10,000 the very next season. Everything he used to complain about was done loudly, and you couldn't complain because he just won a championship. So now he felt his way was the way to go. And him and the general manager, Calvin, bumped heads as Calvin wanted to do things his way and he wanted to do it another. And he keeps telling him, your job is to coach. My job is to be the general manager of the team. That's my job. And he says, well, what kind of general manager would you be without coach's input? I have to coach these players. So if it wanted to work, this is how it works. On every other team, it works that way. The coach and the general managers are on the same page. Why we're not? You're supposed to just give me shit and I'm supposed to like it. You know, that's how he looked at it. So I'm supposed to get shit and like it. Hit the like button, good people. Now, the Nuggets wanted to lock people down in contracts in the year, and the general manager didn't do that. And he was like, whoa, so we're going to possibly lose Michael Porter Jr., like letting him go. And Mike Malone didn't think that was a good idea to not lock down Michael Porter Jr. Now, Michael Porter Jr. can really go out and test the market. So they argued about that. Murray's been hurt. He was arguing about play with some of the players. He's got more abrasive. And it feels like the players have got laxed since they won a championship. And he was telling some of the new guys, no, you guys didn't win a championship. Do you got a ring? No. You didn't win a ring. You didn't win a ring. These guys haven't won a ring. They want to win a ring. But they can't win it unless you guys start playing ball. So all of you guys, yes, in 2023, congratulations. We're not in 2023 anymore. So he's trying to keep the team focused on the future and winning championships. But they've already won one and they felt like we got the pressure off our backs. So last season they were a little laxed. And he didn't like it. And he blamed Calvin for not making a trade or doing something to shake the team up and have his back. So those two often argue, back and forth. And Mike Malone doesn't take any crap from anybody. So the more those two went back and forth, the worse the situations became. Murray became like the superstar of the team. Started taking shots he shouldn't have took. He got chewed out by Mike Malone early in this season. Mike Malone didn't like the condition he came in camp with. It felt like Murray didn't come into camp 100%. He said he had some knick-knack injuries in the offseason. He was trying to let heal, and he was trying to get himself back in shape. So they were taking that notion. But he was always a little hard on Murray than anybody else and saying to the rest of the team, we have to move in another direction. Like, we're going to have to start implementing other players. So Brown started getting more playing time. And why Brown is getting more playing time and more integrated in the offense, and Mike Malone has been working with this kid and coaching him, getting him ready to play. They were supposed to make a trade, and they really didn't in the middle of the season. And it pissed Mike Malone off. There's a couple of players he wanted. He cussed out Calvin. And the governor was there and basically told him, like, you're just going to let this guy run this team to the ground? You guys got championship. Now you're good? Okay. Is that what we're doing here? So, Mike Malone is a very fiery guy, and he says things from his chest. And Kronk or whatever, he didn't care. Then it came down to the situation that made it even worse is the team was struggling early in the season, and they were talking about firing him then. Like, can we fire him now? Like, like replace him? Do it now. He's like, the town might go against us, and this might be a bad move. And they couldn't see it happening. But both the owner, the governor who runs the team, and the general manager, Calvin, both wanted to get rid of Mike Malone. But the governor was listening to Mike, and he was right. Calvin was ignoring Mike Malone on purpose. Any idea of bringing a player in, he ignored it on purpose. He had no intentions of bringing those players over. None. Anytime Mike Malone suggested it, he didn't do it. So he was neglecting his job, in other words. So the governor's like, yeah, that seemed like a good move, a good trade. Why didn't you lock this person down? Why didn't you? So he's basically saying Mike Malone is right, but Mike Malone was going about it the wrong way, and that this gotten toxic. And Murray was one of the players who I heard that was not too fond of Mike Malone's attitude lately in the last 2 years, and felt like, I'm killing myself out here, for this guy. And it's like, I can't never get it right. He'll love you for two minutes, and then he's right back. But he's the coach. So Murray's hurt, and it's not like he's laying down on the season. He's just like not rushing himself back. And it's like, look, he's dividing the team. We're going to have to just split this thing up. We got to get a new general manager in. So Michael Porter Jr. might be gone. Gordon might be gone. Next season might be a fire sale for Denver. Michael Porter Jr. already did an interview and was hinting at this in that interview. Like, if we don't win it this year, it's over. Like, this whole thing is getting blown up. See, I listen when people talk. I just don't wait for my turn to talk. I listen. When they talk, I'm listening. So that's what was happening. I was listening. Things got out of hand, and they got out of hand pretty fast. And what I mean out of hand is that once this season was going on and the Luka trade happened, and they saw what happened to the Luka franchise, they didn't let Mike Malone go. Plus, the Nuggets won 8 games in a row. They went on an 8-game winning streak. So that 8-game winning streak, they said, all right, maybe we jumping the gun. Let's just hold off, and then we'll reevaluate this at the end of the season. So that was what the plan was. Then last week happened. They started to lose 4 or 5 games in a row. It was not nice in the locker room. Mike Malone cussed the players out, saying y'all ain't playing defense. You're not doing this. He's chewing the team the hell out, and he's blaming the general manager, disrespecting him, talking about these guys. I mean, he talked about, he did like an ether of them. And they were like, oh my God, this guy got to go. Now, after watching what happened with the Grizzlies and them firing the coach, they was like, oh, we can fire a coach this late in the season? Well, we're not going to win it this year. Let's be realistic. Memphis realized we're not going to win it this year. We just can't continue to have this guy here. So let's show the team like we got their back, the players, and we got to start fresh. Everybody's got to go. So Calvin was up for a contract renewal. He wasn't getting renewed because they would have locked him in already. And Mike Malone was already locked in as a coach, so they have to pay out the remainder of his contract, and then after that, then he can go somewhere else. So it depends on how much money are they gonna be willing to buy him out, or just pay him just to be gone for 2 years before he can accept another job. It's called perspective. And if you don't have a perspective, you're not going to be able to get the answers. So when they let him go, after seeing what happened with the coach, they said, we can do this. We're not going to win it this year. Let's just blow it up now. And then just go through this season, and whatever happens, happens. And after the season, we can go in and start fresh. We got a clean house. So that's what happened in Denver. That's why Mike Malone is gone. 100%. That is exactly why. What happened last week just elevated it. He was going to be fired at the end of the year anyway. They weren't renewing the contract. They had their mind made up. When they won 8 in a row, it would have happened earlier. But when they won the 8 in a row, they said, well, we won 8 in a row. We might have a shot. So let's give the coach one last go. Now, if they won the championship, then they possibly keep Mike again. But no, they didn't see this team winning. Well, when you lose 4 games in a row, a lot of things start to happen. There's a lot of betrayals, a lot of I don't trust you. It's a lot of that talk that's materializing. And when you see that happening on the floor, you go, okay, I know what's happening here. I respect it, or you don't respect it. You can go either way. Oh yes, hit the like button. I know y'all got here and I didn't tell y'all to do that. If you're new, subscribe to the page. Do so. They are ran just like the Dallas Mavericks. Most of the teams in the NBA are gonna be ran like that. They're gonna have governors because they're owned by a conglomerate. And that's just how the NBA is moving forward. They want conglomerates. This guy Kroenke is a governor that's paid by the team that owns it to run it. They deal with the day-to-day. You talk to this guy, that guy. They don't want to talk to anyone. Like, you'll probably never see the owners. That's like the Dallas Mavericks. They got that guy in there that's running everything. He's the governor. So he's just to govern things, to run it, to make sure things are going smooth or whatever. That's his job. So when they were blaming the casino people, moving the team around, they had nothing to do with any of it because they can care less. They cared about getting gambling approved in Texas. That was their motivation of buying the Dallas Mavericks. Mike Malone is just a different individual altogether. You see, somebody said LeBron got him traded. If he did, it wouldn't surprise me, bro. I could see LeBron because he didn't like LeBron ass at all. Because LeBron got him and his daddy fired when he was in Cavs. So I knew LeBron don't like him, but I gotta be honest. This got nothing to do with LeBron. This time, LeBron is innocent. That don't even sound right coming off my tongue. But no, LeBron is innocent, bro. On this one. But if some evidence come out that LeBron was behind it, I'm with it 100%. What do I think about Bron? I don't, bro. No. Mike Malone and Murray, it's a lot of people that you can't coach a certain way. Murray felt like I was giving everything to the team, and the coach was staying on my ass for whatever the reason may be. I don't know why they do that, but this is like the drug spot over here. It's the make out spot. It's the cheat on your wife spot. Drug spot. Every spot in America. This is it. This area here is where you go. I don't know what it is. This area, man. Two co-workers come pull up in here, start making out in one car to get back in the car. This is the spot you get busted. Trick went off on somebody in the interview. Yeah, the way the Pistons got screwed over in the Sacramento game was just criminal. That's why I never root for Sacramento no more. But no, you see, Mike Malone was knowing that this might be his last year in Denver. So this is not a real surprise to him that he was fired. You might think it's a shock that it happened like this. He knew at the end of the season, they don't win it, this is over. He knew that going into it. The players knew too that at the end of this season, things are going to change. The general manager was not being brought back. They did not renew his deal. They said, we're going to, we'll review this at the end of the year. He was gone. I told you Nico was the scapegoat from the jump. All of that stuff was fake. Because I told you 3 years ago, they tried to get Luka Doncic. So 3 years ago, I made the video. Well, 4 years now. It's been 4 years ago in 2021. I told y'all, the Lakers are trying to steal Luka Doncic. They trying to steal this dude. Way back then, it wasn't a guess. Somebody like, yeah, that's a great guess. How the hell you guessed that? Damn. I must be psychic like a mug. No, the talks was trying to happen back then when it was time for his contract to come up. Like, they trying to get him on the Lakers, period. They had Magic Johnson. They had all their PR people working behind the scenes trying to get this guy on there. This is an NBA move. Putting Luka Doncic on the Lakers is an NBA move. They got a new deal, new rights contract. This is what they want to do. They're moving in a different direction. So to start the new season off, they building the Lakers up behind Luka Doncic. And he's carrying this old ass bum, LeBron James, to help get them to the finish line. We're gonna market that to launch the new NBA. LeBron James is retiring, not after this year, not after next year, the year after that. He's retiring. He's not gonna go get another team and play. He's retiring in 3 years. Well, 2 years, 2 more years after this. They're plotting right now details. I'm getting sketched details on LeBron's final year. The Lakers are not offering him another contract. That's out. Yes, I mean, if you want to talk about it, Calvin and the general manager Calvin for the Nuggets, he then did way more as far as a general manager of building this team with Bruce Brown, bringing in everything, and as a brother, you coming in here making these moves, who can hoop and who can't. You the one in these camps. You know who the real hoopers are and who's not the real hoopers. So what he allowed himself to do was not play himself out of position. He allowed himself the opportunity to succeed. I just don't understand what it is, and I think it's a little bit of both, and that's why the governor said, I just got to get rid of both of y'all. I can't bring both of y'all back. I do believe that once they won the championship, Mike Malone his voice got a little louder than it always used to be. Now it's through the roof because he got the championship now. Now you can't tell him that what he does don't work. Seen this happen with coaches. This is what happened with Jerry Krause and Phil Jackson. The Bulls were winning championships, and Phil Jackson's ego with each championship went through the roof. If y'all knew what Phil Jackson was like in 1991, you would be like, that's Phil Jackson? There was no ego. This guy never used to wear suits. He wasn't on none of that. Yep. They here for the drug deal. But I tell you, they going to meet some of this. The car been sitting there for a minute. Now he finna go over here to the side. Tell you, this the drug spot central. You ever want to get something on tape? This is where you get it on tape. Right here. You're going to see a drug deal. You're going to see co-workers having sex right here in this spot. I remember one time I scared them because I pulled in one time. They was like, we got to go. Yeah, it's straight be going up. Thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate that. Waffles and cocaine. Waffles and cocaine. That is a crazy ass name, dog. Waffles and coke. So, yeah, Phil in 91, dog. Go, if anybody could find a picture of Phil Jackson in 1991, pull it up and go look at Phil Jackson. Go look at what Phil Jackson used to look like, bro. Phil Jackson used to be the bummiest guy in America. Phil Jackson would sit there with the bummiest outfit on, like cheap suit, because he didn't used to wear suits. When he came there in 90, 89 and all that, he couldn't even do media. He couldn't do press. They gave him that coaching job in 1990. They lost again to the Pistons. He just was not the coach. He just was a X and O's guy and knowing the plays and knowing bravado. Then they won in 91. He was, all right, guys. Good play. Way to go. Okay, just remember, execution. So after they won the championship in 91, then came 92. That's when the ego started to change. He got 2 championships on this belt. He got a superstar team. Phil started dressing up in suits, going into designer suits. He's getting his hair done by a stylist now. Now he's got the beard all going out like he's a professor. And he's the Zen master. The Zen master. They're going for the 3rd championship now. And he's now this guy, this philosopher. And it's like, the philosopher? This dude didn't even talk. Now he wants more opinions on how the team should be ran. Now he feels entitled, especially after the 3rd championship. he really lost his mind. He got rid of his wife. All the years, the kids, has walked out on his entire family. Nobody mentions this about Phil Jackson. Walked out on his entire family, started sleeping with Dr. Buss' wife. I mean, his daughter, not his wife. Sorry about that. Started sleeping with Jenny Buss, who's like 30, 40 years younger than him. And he starts having an affair with him because he reminds her of her father. Meanwhile, her father is still alive. While all of this is going on. And he don't care. Dr. Buss is banging 3, 4 at a time. He got a 19-year-old girl. He don't care. Dr. Buss is, yeah, he couldn't survive in these days, I'll tell you that. So Phil began to get more, arrogant. He became way more arrogant as time went on. Phil got more arrogant and he wanted Jerry Krause's job. He wanted to bring in players. He felt he should be the general manager. Michael Jordan was pushing for it. And like, yeah, we should get Phil in there. So they telling Jerry Krause, Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner, they said, Jerry, here's what I need you to do. I need you to push Krause to retirement. Get him to move out of here. Let Phil be the general manager. Phil wants to run the team anyway. He's basically running the team. Let Phil run the team. So Michael could get the people in there he won't. Nope. And once Krause realized Phil Jackson is trying to get him fired, hell, he don't like that. What in the world reason would he have to liking that? He don't like it. You want to get me fired? Like, damn, dog, for real? You want me out of here that bad that you want to get me fired? So that's when he said Phil Jackson will not be the coach of the Bulls next year no matter what. He could win a championship, he ain't coming back. Okay. This is the old Regal movie theater. I'm thinking about investing in this. Now, not just bringing back movies to this town, because I used to come here all the time to watch movies. I'm thinking of, now that they've closed it down and boarded it up, I'm thinking about joining in with some partners in the neighborhood and some other people some investors from another state, and get a bunch of other business partners together so they can make one entertainment place where there's a bowling alley, there's movie theaters, it's all in one to, keep the revenue coming in, and don't just make it a movie theater, make it everything and all in one. So that's my investment idea. It's the reason why I'm over here right now. Just coming in to check it out. I seem like I might be willing to pull the trigger on that deal. It's going to come out more and more about the problems that they had, but this is not a shock to Mike Malone. Mike Malone knows exactly, what the situation is. And they do. As an organization, they know, we're thankful you brought us a championship, but you were a handful to deal with. He's an old school coach. He came up under Paul and Steven Silas. His father is a Detroit Piston bad boy legend, assistant coach Brendan Malone. Mike was right under him, know the game, learned the game. Wherever he goes, he's going to make players better. He's that kind of a head coach. You want a head coach that can make your team better. That's what you want. Help my players develop. Now, if you look at Brown, even Brown playing right now tonight, when they got this kid, 2 years ago, he was wet behind the ears. Look at where he's at right now. If you watch the Nuggets game, I watch them every now and then. They're playing right now. In Brown, we trust. Look at his development. Look how he plays. That's coaching. Michael Porter Jr. might be the one that's out. They didn't lock Michael Porter Jr. down in a contract, and with all the controversy with his family, with the sports betting, and his brother going to jail for this murder. It's an accidental thing that happened. So him got to serving time in jail. It's been a tough time for Michael Porter Jr. So the Porter family took a lot of hits when they were supposed to be the foundation of basketball. Too many basketball sons are in the game now. And the NBA is turning into the son of NBA players. That's it. That's going to be the main superstars of the league, is sons of NBA players. Well, they wouldn't have a ring without it, MPJ. So you can say what you want. I mean, Aaron Gordon does a lot for Denver. He was a great addition to the team. His knees are shot. He can't do the things he used to do, but his basketball IQ and his defense has kept Aaron Gordon as a great staple to back up Joker. He was a great additional pickup. You had players that knew their position, but losing key players like Pope and Bruce Brown, those guys were key into winning championships. And when you lose that coming off your bench, it gives your team a different look. And you can see the gaps, and other teams see it. Because you can't re-sign everybody, unfortunately. And this is what happens in this league. So well, they're going to look different next year. So we're going to see what they look like next year, and we can make that assessment from that point. They say wait till you arrive to the point before y'all start trying to strip mine the Denver Nuggets. But the Denver Nuggets is about to strip mine themselves. Mm, true that. But yes, Mike Malone brought this on himself. So that is what it is. A lot of people are not sad he's gone. Some people are upset. This wasn't the Joker's call. Joker didn't say, I want the coach gone. Joker didn't really have a problem with him. Plus, you're not going to bring it up with any player that you're going to fire Mike Malone because, okay, you saying, okay, we're about to fire the coach. What you think? Okay, what do you expect him to say? Fire the coach and we're getting ready to go into the playoffs? What player would say that? So this is a decision that's made solely by the ownership, the governor of the league. He made this decision as he's made the decision to part ways with the general manager. Well, not re-sign him either. Because he didn't agree with that. Like they didn't make any moves in the trade deadline at all. Not one. Like they weren't really active at all. They just stood by. And if it wasn't for that 8-game winning streak, they'd have fired Mike Malone during this season. You're on to something. That's right, Kawhi. I'm always on to something. I need to be on some sleep. I'm tired, B. I'm so tired. Y'all don't even know. But I'm going to get out of here, man. Shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bus Life. My Patreon is Carcino for Life. Y'all already know that. Man, so many people out there. Welcome to HDII Too Raw for TV. Jose, yep. Sports Talk with Jose Rodriguez. Follow him. He's always been loyal and shows support. Come in our chat. Outlaw. I'll see he back talking. LB back around since that Knicks loss. They ain't got no excuse for the Knicks loss. We might have to do a panel. All right, I'm out.